Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Jim Rohn. And my friends, our simple disciplines are 10 to 15 minutes, following the charts, our favorite stocks and ETFs, those that you put on your list for your own particular reasons, and practice trading as much as possible. Let's jump into these charts and see where we are. Glad to say I told you. How many listened? We talked about the market topping and it continues to move down. Not saying that there may be forces that try to hold it up in each and every way possible. I've been doing this long enough to see everything. When the COVID drop happened, I watched them inflate our currency through the roof and stopped in its tracks the crushing down moves in the market after just a few weeks. And then all of a sudden the market flung upwards after COVID started to crash it. Now, as this market very much overextended, we saw this latest move start back in late April and go on unabated pretty much for months on end. We've had two dojis over the last couple of weeks, and then this week, week number 3, we see things moving down strongly. You can see all the volume that's been here for many weeks as the market's been struggling to top, and as it looks like it is, of course, sliding over down. Now, we are in the trade on the Qs, which is the stronger down move. We'll talk about that when we get to it. Let's talk about the S&P first. You can see all this ranging of price in the morning on Thursday and then the drop in the afternoon. This is what we see on our Heiken Ashi candlestick. Again, we don't have a strong downtrend, but we do have a strong down candle for the week. We still have one day to go and we're already at average volume. We look at the Thursday, Friday 2-day candle that still has another day to go. It's already at its average volume. And we look at the half day above average in the morning and afternoon. So again, strong down ranging price with lots of volume backing up this pullback. Now, when we look at our trade execution summary grid and we run it through our typical analysis, it's all still showing bullishness out there. I don't see it. I've not seen it. I've told you about it. I've enacted my trade, and we are, of course, adding to that position, have been adding to that position on the Qs as things go down. I'm not saying they might try to do something. Who's they? Well, the forces that be, to try to hold this market up further, but it's getting more and more difficult as the volume gins up and things move down. And I tell you, the people I feel sorry for, if this market really does just hammer down and take back from everyone all they have gained, is all those people out there that have their money managed by the typical management folks, and they just watch everything go to nothing. I've told this story, haven't told it in a while, but many times, years and years ago when we had the dot-com bubble. I am dating myself. I'm 64. And of course, I have been in the market for many years, but this was prior to that. And I had money in my retirement account, had a 401k. I was a young lawyer at the time, in my early 30s maybe. And watching my money go from $100,000 that I had put in there to that point to $300,000. Then the dot-com bubble hit. We were being told, oh man, this is a new economy. Everything's brand new. Market will never go down. Sort of what we've been saying. It's always the same psychology. My $300,000 as the market started to crash and I didn't know what to do and was being advised by my financial advisor, hang in, it'll turn around. You don't want to pull out now. I went from $300,000 back down below the $100,000 I had started at to $95,000 before the bleeding stopped. Lost it all. I don't want to see people do that. Again, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. I'm just telling you what I've seen. and what I'm paying attention to right now. Now, that's where we are on the S&P. What about the NASDAQ? Well, my friends, the NASDAQ, S&P was down 1.52%. NASDAQ pulling back even stronger, 2.37%. And I can ditto where we are on the weekly. The 2-day is almost up to average. And of course, well above average volume, lots of ranging in the morning and the drop in the afternoon. So again, unless the forces that be, the Treasury, the Fed, the government somehow turns around and does something to stop this bleeding, who knows? Who knows? I just don't want to see the little guys get screwed. As of course, I write it down. And of course, I have, what's my way to write it down? Well, it's actually writing it up in an inverse fund. You can also do the same if you know how to trade options, such as puts on the NASDAQ or the S&P. And again, how do you learn about options and practice trade them for yourself? Well, if you sign up for any of the 3 levels of Patreon support at chartingwealth.com, you will learn, you'll take our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, and you'll start learning about options, and then you'll be able to start practice trading them. So at some point, you can actually use the real things. This is when I feel like we come into our own. It has been a long time since we've seen a pullback and things are heading down. We are decisively negative, particularly on the Qs, which is where my trade is. Now, we look at where we are on bonds. We were up. It was the only up for the day, 0.39%. We're still bearish on bonds. We have 3 weekly down candles. Nothing strong, nothing I'd be trading on at this point. But again, we can see red candles. We did have some up movement today a little bit. Prices below the weekly trend line on the 2-day and the half-day, and of course the weekly. And don't know that we're going to get up to average volume on the weekly, maybe on the 2-day. Average volume in the morning and afternoon on the half-day, but again, just up 0.39%. But the only green for the day. What do we see going on with gold? It was down for the day, 0.03%. Right now, as I look at the trade execution summary grid, I would agree it calls it neutral at 50% directional probability. I got no idea where gold is going. We saw it move up back last week on the 10th, the 12th, the 13th, and then level out on the afternoon of Thursday the 13th, and then start moving down after that green up week last week. We're a doji now this week, not a lot of volume. Have to go all the way back to the end of October to find even average volume. So again, gold just sort of hanging there after all of that up move, trimmed out, popped up last week, and now sort of dying again. What does that mean when you don't know what things are going to? That means you don't practice trade. I darn sure would never real life trade anything where I don't have a strong inkling and feeling. And that's why I preach to you guys all the time to be in the markets a little bit each and every day. Practice trade. Learn the emotions. Learn the personality of your favorite stocks and ETFs. Pick out whatever you like. Things that move, that are trackable, that have discernible rotations over on the weekly charts, because that's what we trade off of. Big charts for big money. What's up with HODL? Well, we've been negative for a while, have we not, on Bitcoin? Told you about BITI, which is the Bitcoin Inverse Fund. It's one of them, and it's the one I like that I've real life traded in the past. And of course, it's been moving up. Percentage up for percentage down in Bitcoin. Price is not the same on any of these inverse funds. They are separate funds, priced separately, but they are set up to move opposite of what's going on the underlying equity, the underlying ETF in this case. So as Bitcoin's been going down, BITI has been going up. Again, something else for you to potentially practice trade. So I will put at the end of today's training yet again Inverse funds, how to make money when markets crash. I've got a few of those trainings. I'll put a good one in for you to introduce you to it if you've never messed around with inverse funds. They're not for everybody. I'm not recommending it. I don't recommend anything. I'm not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We're not a Bitcoin, gold, or bond calling service. I want you to practice these things and see what works for you, what catches your eye, what you're good at in practice trading. And then, of course, get into fractional trading where you take a small dollar amount, say $100, one share, a fraction of a share, and practice trade that to really keep yourself honest. It's easy to correct mistakes when you're paper trading and not really keep yourself honest. When you're using a small dollar amount like $100 and you're losing, $25, that is telling you you don't know what you're doing. So don't be one of those. We look at what Bitcoin is doing. Look at all the volume, already over average volume this week as Bitcoin has fallen off the deep end. We look at these, particularly the last going on 3 weeks now, stair steps moving down. See if we get to average volume tomorrow. We should on the 2-day, and you can see we're strong volume in the morning, weakening in the afternoon today on Thursday. But again, down movement, strong down with 3.40% for the day in Bitcoin. So, of course, if you were in BITI, you would just be loving it. That's where we are, folks, as we end the day. Patreon members, I've already posted the November 21, 2025 5-day plus ETF trading analysis and execution plan. As I've told you, I don't agree with all the bullishness in the Qs and the NASDAQ and the S&P, nor the bullishness in HODL. I'm okay with the bearishness and the neutral of TLT and gold, but of course I'm not going to be trading either one of those because of the nature of the low directional probability and backtest accuracy. That's where we are, folks. Always love to hear from you. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.